online. This is the second time I've done this, that link research with exercise, research with diet, research that have to do with diet and memory, exercise and memory, socialization and memory. In some ways, it all seems so simple that, we've known for years that, we say, well, if you don't use it, you'll lose it, right? It's a very broad term. And so it seems really obvious, but increasingly over the last 10, 15 years, I'm sure, there's a lot of research that demonstrates that people do better when they continue to be social. And the thing about being social is that it can really work two ways. People can feel down because of things that happen in their life, crises that they experience, loss of loved ones, loss of jobs, upset about children, whatever is happening, they can feel really down in their lives and they will tend to isolate themselves. And then the isolation will then feed into their becoming less active completely, blood flow less, heartbeat less. So they begin then to also have memory affected. And to begin to force themselves to be active means that reactivates those symptoms, even though they may not feel like being active. So it really works both ways. People can be trying to recover from a surgery of some sort, and you'll notice how quickly they get people up and walking, which I think is a part of the... that noise is...
Somebody's phone.
Okay. Which is a part of getting the person going again. So I looked at various websites to see what kind of research was being done, and what you will see here are the names of some of the people that I looked at. And as we go through the evening, you were saying your neighbor was interested, so I'll be able to give you the websites that I saw. She can go on and look at some of this as well. So according to some research conducted at Rush University Medical Center, frequent social activity may help to prevent or delay cognitive decline in old age. So the thing about this that seemed really interesting as I read about it was that it wasn't just so much making sure you go out to have coffee with friends. It wasn't so much let's get together and talk. But it seemed that the research really showed that the more active the social involvement, the better it worked to help preserve and enhance memory. So if you're meeting with a bridge club, then that's likely to have more of an effect than meeting for coffee and cookies. If you're going to volunteer someplace to work with some particular group of people, or, the SPCA, to work with animals, you're going to stimulate certain feelings and neurons in your body that will increase blood flow and will keep your brain more active and will also increase and enhance and maintain memory better. So the socialization, the complexity of the socialization also mattered in the research that was done. And I thought that was really important because, to say be social can mean a lot of different things. Does it mean you're secluded in your house and you're not seeing anyone, and then you invite someone over once a week? Is that what that means? Or does it mean that you need to involve yourself to the greatest degree that's comfortable for you? and then, what have you been like your whole life? Have you been a person that tends to be social a lot? Do you really like being around people? So the socialization needs to fit your personality also. Many, many people go to their jobs and maybe have a social event once every 2 weeks that they go to, and that's fine for them. And then here the research is showing that you really need to be active and social, and it needs to be complex. And then if that's not what you've done your whole life, if that's not who you are, what does that mean for you? So I think it takes a lot of thinking about, how do you improve that? How do you involve yourself in a way that you really enjoy, or that fits your personality as well. So certainly socialization is very important, and it's not such a simple issue. So I'm wondering about those of you who are here and how you experience being social, what that means to you, how much you're social, how much you're not.
I think I'm very busy. I'm working harder as a volunteer than I ever did for money. I created it, and I find that part of it is you need to feel you're needed.
Feeling you're needed.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. There was a lot in the research actually about helping people. That volunteering to help people seems to be a complex because it called into view the issue of strategy, thinking through problems. Yes.
I don't know if anybody reads the new old age blog in the New York Times, but there was a really good piece.
Could you talk a little louder?
There was a really good piece in the new old age blog on the New York Times about aging with purpose, and that people that felt that they had a purpose, no matter what the purpose, seemed to age better.
Right.
Well, and the people who live the longest are in Okinawa, and you can ask any Okinawan what their purpose is, and slips right off their lips. Everybody knows their purpose.
They need to have a goal, right? It means that, yes, something that you are particularly interested in or feel is important. Yeah, right. Okay. Does anyone else want to say something about being social?
I'm sorry.
I appreciate that you said find socialization that fits with your personality. I happen to be terrified of people and of socializing, and so it's a big challenge for me, and I hear everybody saying it's really critical.
I missed a little of what you said, though. You said that you said something about 5 people. What did you say?
I said I'm terrified of people.
You're terrified. Yes. Okay. That's
Socialism.
right. Yes. So then, under those circumstances,
It's very
how do you pull that out and suddenly be social in ways you haven't been before?
Well, what brought you here? I mean, you had the courage to come here tonight, so whatever brought you here can take you to other places as well. To analyze what enabled you to successfully, get here, and to also reveal that you're afraid, which takes tremendous courage.
You wouldn't have the guts to say that.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
I've been waiting for you.
Yes,
What
please
kept
come
you?
in.
Yes,
Sign
okay,
in.
well,
Oh, sorry.
Did you forget what time it was?
I left my bag.
Let's go beat 'em up now. Let's go beat 'em up.
Supposed to be
No one wants to know
Queens.
who that is.
Oh, you meant agencies from our pension.
From your Tai Chi?
Pull it in.
Good. Very, very good.
Better.
So, I appreciate your comment about being terrified of people. I am not terrified of people. I actually am an extrovert. However, I have a very important, necessary balance. I cannot be out and around people constantly.
You know what?
You cannot do it. Be out and around people constantly. I cannot.
Yeah,
Meaning,
Your own space, you need your own space, you need your own space.
I mean that it is crucial for me to come back and be by myself. And that I notice that so much. And if I'm back and by myself for too long, I will notice a change in my mood. But it's still very important that I do that. Yes.
Oh, are you finished?
Yes, I finished.
Okay. Yeah, I can relate to that. I work at a senior center as a social worker.
Yes.
And there's 5 floors of activities, and I really wish I could participate, but I have a lot of paperwork, cases.
Sure.
But being surrounded by people all those hours, I would rather have lunch by myself. I don't want to, people feel sorry for me. They say, come sit with. But I appreciate that chance for the solitude because
Exactly.
you can't be constantly surrounded. So
Okay, good. Thank you.
No, there's a new book out. Well, I don't know if it's new, but Ellen Langer, Counterclockwise. A very interesting book on aging.
On
memory.
aging and memory in particular.
Yeah.
Ellen Langer.
She's out of Harvard. She's out of Harvard. She's a psychologist out of Harvard.
Oh, wonderful. So now I seem to have come to, that's good, we can do dietary.
touchy subject, right?
Memory and diet.
Yeah.
So there isn't any particular food that's going to make your brain perfect.
No
I'm
fish?
sorry.
No fish?
Well, not that one food now.
Omega-3 fatty acids.
Balanced diet seems to be what needs to be happening.
Mediterranean diet.
And it needs to be a diet with high in vegetables and fruits, right? Antioxidants. So we hear about antioxidants and we hear about probiotics. We hear about, we don't hear that much about mono and polymonosaturates anymore, unsaturates. But the thing is that the heart and the brain, the heart and the brain are nurtured and enhanced and nourished by the same foods. And so the body as a whole really needs fruits and vegetables in greater quantity than it needs even grain and the starches and meat and protein and of course fat. So it's really easy. It's not easy to do. It's easy to know that if you are consuming a percentage of vegetables and fruits and non-fat foods, and you're staying away from the fatty greases, that you are consuming a healthy diet. And that if you tend to have more of the comfort foods in your diet, that is contraindicated. Not that they should be eliminated, but that there should be a much smaller proportion of them in your diet. And that works for the blood vessels, the muscles, the liver, the heart, the kidneys, the eyes, the bones, and the brain. And so the fatty acids, the omega-3s, are really good substances for the entire body. And they are those diet. What am I trying to say? They are very, very highly recommended, and I think that you were talking about the Mediterranean diet. Mm-hmm. The Mediterranean diet is huge in vegetables, right?
Fruits and nuts.
Fruits and nuts.
too.
What else?
but it's
Oil. Olive oil.
it's polyunsaturated.
Olive oil.
And flax oil is another one. That's a very good oil too. So does anybody have a comment on what I just said? I'm so interested to know. Yes.
What about coconut oil? What about coconut oil?
Yeah, that's in.
Excuse me?
That's in.
It's in, you say.
It's in.
And coconut ice cream yesterday was good.
And it was really good.
Ben and Jerry's? Ben and Jerry?
Does Ben and
Yeah,
Jerry
I
make
know.
coconut ice cream?
Yes.
Yes?
I
They actually are doing studies now on the ketones in the
Yeah.
coconut oil,
Uh-huh.
and they're saying that that is replacing the glucose that's not being used properly in the brain for people with dementia. So they've seen slight improvements in symptoms of dementia when people consume the
Water or oil?
coconut oil. So it's actually
Okay.
now starting to get really large in an area of research in dementia, but you can actually read up about it now pretty much everywhere. So the ketones are replacing what you're losing and the glucose you're not properly processing.
So, yes.
Oh, you mentioned flaxseed oil. My daughter asked me to buy it, but I have it in the cabinet. It wasn't open, but I'm not even sure what you put it on. Salad?
You can
Or
use
what
it
do you
as
use
salad
on
oil.
salad?
Yes.
Okay.
I use some of it in a green drink that I take every day. I just squirt in a tablespoon
Oh,
and drink it up. So it replaces the use of oils throughout the diet.
so salad. Okay.
Some people will take a tablespoon of flaxseed oil by itself in the morning because they like that as a supplement. It's okay to do that, but you can also mix it in the foods that you eat.
Almost anything, right?
I think so.
Can you cook with it?
I don't,
Can
I
you
don't
heat it
think
up?
so.
You
I don't
can, you
know.
can cook with coconut oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, coconut
you can heat
oil,
that.
but not
Some
salad.
oils you cannot heat up.
She's talking about flaxseed oil.
I have coconut oil also right for the dog.
So your dog is very smart.
Coconut oil, right?
Right. Okay.
I
Yes, Steve.
was you said you can cook with it, but you can't heat it up. I don't.
No, I was wondering, because some oils you cannot really heat, because they're not, they start to...
Excuse me?
They burn,
She's saying you can
Yeah.
cook with coconut oil.
but not flaxseed.
but not flaxseed.
I don't think so.
Right.
It doesn't have a taste.
It's not a,
It doesn't sort of.
Coconut
go with the
oil?
food. Yeah, I mean, what does it do to the food, the taste
Oh,
of
it
the food?
tastes, once you get used to the taste of coconut oil, coconut, it's fine. I didn't really care for coconut, but now I love it.
Okay.
So I
Now that you're using it more, you've gotten accustomed to it.
Yeah, I was very surprised. You grow the taste of things, you really do.
Are you using coconut oil in your cooking?
Yeah, when you make eggs, you can grease the pan with coconut oil, just replacing what you use butter. It's really simple.
and you can also use it on your skin. This woman with the most gorgeous skin, I said, what's
Or
your
your hair,
secret?
or
She
your
said
hair.
coconut
Or your
Filipinos
hair.
put it in their hair.
hair.
Yes.
Great.
Maybe it'll seep into your brain that way.
So this is it, that the vegetables, and I really need to mention the dark green vegetables as well. Kale is very, very much a wonderful vegetable, and I notice that we're doing all kinds of wonderful things with kale. I just want to say that there's also spinach, of course, and I'm talking about dark green vegetables. So I grew up with mustard greens, turnip greens, and collard greens, which were just, I didn't know they were wonderful for me because they were being prepared, you know. But they are wonderful for all
They
of
were
us.
cooked in lard. No?
Hang on. I mean, that's a really good point. And so I know that they are good. You know, I like them because I grew up with them. And also, the turnip greens are a bitter green, as well as the mustard. And I've read a lot about bitter greens and how they are really healthy for you, that they are a very fine food to have. That doesn't mean they're necessarily better than kale, but I think that the variety is what matters, is that we need a very good variety of foods. And if you think about kale and spinach and then collards, mustards, and turnip greens, you've got 5 dark greens to move among and know that you're getting really good, necessary nutrients.
I didn't grow up with them, so what do you do?
How do I cook them? Well, I just want to say that since we have gotten into using dark greens, I noticed that Whole Foods is preparing salad made with collard greens. But collard greens tend to be a little tough, so they don't really make that great a salad. Actually, they can be sautéed. They can also be boiled. You were talking about the lard. Okay, so when I was growing up, I'm sure they were cooked with something I would not cook them with now. They were cooked with salt pork sometimes, and ham hock sometimes.
said?
Ham hock?
Oh, ham hock.
Ham hock.
The ham hock.
No, not ham.
Ham. When I
Ham
sound
hock.
naive, is that fish? Ham.
No, we never put fish in collard greens. That never
What
happened.
is it?
So then it went to smoked turkey. You know, about 10 to 15 years ago, I think, we got conscious that that fat was not good, so we went to smoked turkey. But actually, they're very good cooked with onions and garlic. That's true. Olive oil, onions, and garlic are very good. And they can be boiled, you know, or sautéed. Excuse me?
Steamed.
Yes, they can be steamed as well. Yeah. Right. Just like all the other greens. And if you mix them together and you use garlic and onion, they're delicious.
No
Whatever
oil,
you like
no
to
oil,
season.
No oil, just no oil, just no oil in there.
I usually put some sort of oil in there. Yeah, maybe olive oil, maybe flaxseed oil. Whatever I'm using that day, but it's not a particular oil. You know what I mean? And I don't like coconut oil with greens. I've tried that. But the other oils I do like.
You know, you can buy at Trader Joe's in the part where they have packaged salads and so on, a mixture of those dark
greens.
And they have sort of recipes, you know, on the back what to do.
Oh, recipes on the back of the packages?
Yeah, I mean,
Trader
it's
Joe's.
not, they say this is Italian or something, they add a bit of tomato sauce. I mean, it's not gourmet cooking, but it would give you an idea.
Okay, good. So this next slide just says what I just said. A well-balanced diet filled with whole grains, a wide variety of colorful, fresh fruits and vegetables, and moderate amounts of protein that supplies just enough calories to fuel your daily activities. That's a total diet, isn't it? Yeah. So is this pretty much like the diet that you have? Is it a diet that you want to achieve? Where are you in this continuum? Because it's a process to get to the place that you might want to be in your diet.
I need some work to do on that. Thank you. On the green vegetables,
On the
the
green-
vegetables and the fruits. I don't eat enough.
Okay.
And I eat a little bit too much ice cream and stuff. I do that. I also need that water. Water is very, very important. Also drinking a lot of water. I try for 2 quarts of water a day. I work out at the gym, and I try to drink 1 quart of water at the gym. And then
That's great.
And then I drink my
That's
So
really
it's not water. It's any liquid. They're saying that you have to drink 2 quarts of water. That's baloney.
You can have tea.
You can have any fluid. It doesn't have to be in the form of water. But you need your body just to...
Juice has a lot of sugar, though. So
No, I don't. I watch the sugar. It's not sugar, it's water.
no, but you said any fluid, any.
I'm not talking about any. I'm talking about a healthy fluid.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking about...
You're right, I left liquid out.
No, water is...
And that's very important to have.
I'll give you one more that nobody talks about.
Not to drink.
Excuse
enough.
me?
I find very often older people tend not to drink enough water.
But they don't feel thirsty. So they lose the sense of taste and thirst. So you have to, when you take care of an older person, you have to kind of force them to drink. But it's yeah. If you don't feel thirsty, you don't want to drink.
Yeah,
But
I rarely feel thirsty, but it's just like a habit I had of drinking a lot of what everybody knows. I drink a lot of water because I go to the bathroom a lot. People are trying to
But you're cleaning
avoid
the system that way.
right,
You're cleaning
avoid
out-
going to the
You're
bathroom.
cleaning out your body. You can't use a filtering out all this garbage out of your body.
Right, I'd rather have the liquids in my system and know where all the bathrooms are, in the Western Hemisphere.
If before you leave, you hit the bathroom, because you never know where, you go. And one more thing, if I may.
Yes, please.
Okay, this is 20, 30 years ago, looking for enlightenment in the world,
Yes.
meditation, all kinds of stuff. And before you realize, before you drop dead, rather than stupid monkey walking around. And one of the things I'm reading, and one of the Tibetan book, it says before a guy goes to a monastery for enlightenment, climbs the mountain up the thing, and the monk or the head of the monastery says to the guy, before you can become enlightened, you must clean out your bowel. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking about, what the hell, I'm reading this, I'm reading 50 pages, and I'm winding, this is where I wind up with, go take a dump, before you go get enlightenment. This
Yes.
is, and it really went against everything, because it's not intellectual, my body, which thinks the body is supposed to transport my mind around, that's all it does, just a piece of meat that takes my big mind, wherever. And I thought about it, and I realized, the body, I was also a biology major too, so stupid at this point. And I realized that if you have crap in your body, this is leaching out into your blood system. Okay, it does, because it leaches out your blood, your large intestine, pulls out the water from your body, and then so it has more water. And in the water, there's going to be dissolved chemicals. You can't filter out everything. And if you have this stuff in your body, it's going to hit your bloodstream, it's going to affect your mind and everything. And I said, about it for 2 days, really angry reading it. And then I said, they're right. You have to have a clean.
Once you thought it through, it was logical.
And I said, yeah.
Did he mean an enema? Or
No. He just take it down. I don't think he meant none of that. But it's always clean out your system so that it's not affecting your mind. Okay, so that is important. It can have that effect. Just to have a natural, healthy bowel that's clean and it's working, that can have an effect upon the mind.
I think that actually the process of...
I'm selling X-Lax outside, by the way. I'm joking.
Go get it, bring it in.
The chocolate.
I'm joking.
I think the whole business about the body is recognizing what a good cleaning machine the body is. Because really, that's a huge function of the body.
Yeah.
Is to clean out the substance that we create in the process of operating our organs and
it's metabolic waste.
thinking.
Getting rid of metabolic waste.
And that it's important that it be flushed out and cleaned. And that is an extremely healthful and important process. And actually, I didn't see anything about that in the new research.
So go ask the monk. You have to go to Tibet and ask the guy.
I know that that's important.
It is. I know that myself too.
Yes, it's very, very important. Okay, so at this point, I'd just like to move a little to exercise. And the overall statement that I want to make about this, of course, exercise can get joined with socialization, with being social. So you can bring those two together, and you're still enhancing the brain. And as you're enhancing the brain, you are then maintaining and enhancing memory and the process for memory. And now I'm going to add, and it's important that you're drinking enough so that your body is cleaning out while you're doing this. But we sort of take that for granted. We take it for granted, but it's true that many people don't drink enough fluid. They don't drink fluid that will clean out the system. And when I say that, I'm talking about water and teas and light juices and not heavy juices. And I'm not talking about alcohol. Though, of course, alcohol is not terrible as long as you're not drinking too much. Right?
I'll drink today.
Right. So the thing is that, so what kind of exercise? Again, what's your personality like? What kind of exercise? Because we're talking about those of us who are seniors. So what kind of exercise have you done for your whole life? And what kind of exercise does it seem good to do now? And if you're not exercising at all, where do you begin? And understanding that that too is a process, and that once you're exercising, that you're beginning to move and improve the vessels and the muscles in your body, and you're improving the ability for blood to circulate. You're increasing the oxygen in your blood, and as you increase the oxygen in your blood and it circulates, it goes to the brain. And going to the brain means that it enhances the operation of the brain and the capacity for memory as well as ability to think on your feet, which you can also see as memory. And so all of these things really end up coming together, you know. And so I really want to say that, because I know I was looking at exercise and memory, I was looking at diet and memory, I was looking at socialization and memory. But the business with operating the body well and keeping things active really involves the whole body. And so any one of them that you're enhancing, if you mix with another one, you're getting more benefit from it. Still, you know, not everybody actually should exercise more. Not everyone should exercise more. Everyone should do some exercise, I suspect. But sometimes it's not indicated for people to exercise more.
You know what? I think the body is very forgiving. And, you know, I know from my own case, I broke practically every bone in my body. And there are certain parts of my body that are stronger now than when I was very young. And there's somebody who comes to Qigong in the park, and she was using 2 canes, and the doctor said, prepare for a wheelchair.
Oof.
Well, the next time she saw the doctor, she didn't have any
Hit him
canes.
on the head with the cane.
He had no canes,
Well, good for her.
and she didn't want to embarrass the doctor, so when he asked where her cane was, she said, oh, she forgot to take it, and her nephew was with her, and he was a teenager, and he said, you're lying, you don't use them anymore. And she comes to the Qigong, and then she goes to yoga after that.
That's it. Yep. Good for her.
So, yeah, she probably should have caned the doctor.
Yep. Yep.
So finish that. So you were saying that the body is very forgiving. So
Yes.
finish that, the philosophy of the example that you just gave.
Okay, actually, Ellen Langer, who I talked about counterclockwise, she said, you know, we really don't know the possibilities. If 10 years ago, when I've also lost a lot of weight, and I had trouble walking because I had so many broken bones and so many, if you said that I would be able to do what I can do now, that doesn't make sense, because I'm going to be 10 years older, and I'm going to have, you know, 100 more fractures or whatever. So, you know, and it's like, what is it, running the 4-minute mile, that nobody could do it until they did it, and then so many people could do it. So I think that, you know, there needs to be room for the possible, that no